What's up? What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the mini course. All right. In this mini course, we are going to be going over a couple of different stretches that you can be doing daily to help out with your lower back pain. Chances are you came to this video because you chronically have some sort of lower back pain, or maybe it's just an acute stage of lower back pain and you would like some relief. All right. Well, first thing that we're going to do is a 90-90 stretch, okay? 90-90 stretch. So we're gonna start with the front leg being the right leg and the back leg being the left one. So starting just like this, right? So the idea of the 90-90 stretch is that you have a 90-degree angle in this front leg and a 90-degree angle in this back leg, right? And this one, you're gonna stretch out the glutes and the piriformis, right? So from here, I want to make sure that my chest is going to be as square as possible. Now, if your obliques are really tight, this may be difficult for you to do. If your back is really tight, it may be difficult for you to do. That's fine. You're just trying to get as straight as possible and then lean forward. As I'm leaning forward, I'm trying to stick my hips back. So now I'm starting to feel a stretch in my glute on my right side, and then also you'll feel a little bit of stretch in the inside of your leg, all right? So you're coming down just like this, just holding. From here, all we're gonna do is breathe. The goal is we're going 1 minute, all right? I will time it. We'll go in 3, 2, 1, and then we're just holding here. Now, while you're here, you may not be able to get down as far as me, and that's perfectly fine, right? But what you wanna make sure that you're doing is getting a good stretch. And you wanna feel on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being you don't feel any stretch at all, 10 being a painful stretch, you wanna be at about a 6. So it's just slightly uncomfortable, but not enough to make you want to kind of contract your muscles, all right? So also, we wanna pay attention to the breathing. Nice deep breath in, and exhale. Deep breath in, exhale. And just keep this breathing going. We got 15 more seconds, and we're just holding. Again, you can do this stretch from anywhere from 1 to 2 minutes, all right? This is really gonna help open up all those muscles that are gonna connect to your pelvis. All right, there we go, that's 1 minute. And then you would just get the other side. Now, the reason why you would do this stretch right here is because you're stretching your glutes and your piriformis. These are two muscles that are going to move the leg. Basically, they're gonna externally rotate the leg, right? And what happens is that those muscles become tight and or overactive, and they connect to your back. So your pelvis and your back, right, are going to be pulled on by this muscle, or by both of these muscles. So if you're in that stretch and you can't comfortably lean forward, you know that, number one, you need to at least work on the flexibility of your glutes and piriformis. Now, moving on, another one that could potentially be causing some of your back pain is your adductors. Now, your adductors is a group of muscles that are in the inside of your leg, and what that does is bring your leg together. So anytime you've seen in the gym that one little machine where you're sitting down and you're coming in and out, it's like the Thigh Master, that's your adductors, the ones in the inside that you'd be working, all right? So on this one, we're gonna start with the left knee down and then the right leg out, all right? Making sure that on the last one, obviously if you need to get both sides, go ahead and get both sides, all right? Same deal here, knee is down here, and then we're going leg out here. The goal here is to make sure that this leg is nice and flat on the ground, because otherwise you're just kind of going into bad mechanics, and you don't want your body to get used to doing bad mechanics, because that could lead to injuries, right? So foot is nice and flat on the ground, hands are gonna be flat on the ground, and from here, we're just rocking back and forward, just rocking back and forward. If you feel a little bit more flexible after a couple seconds of the stretch, you can move out a little bit, or you can stay right where you are, all right? Again, this is a 1 to 2 minute stretch. You can kind of choose where you're at for that one, all right? The reason why we do that stretch is because there's a bunch of different muscles in the inside of your legs here, right, that are called your adductors. And what they do is they help with hip flexion, which is the ability for your hip to come up towards your chest, right? They are assisters in hip flexion. Now, if you've been sitting down in a chair for a long period of time, also if you've been under a lot of stress, these are the muscles that tend to get overused, right? And they tend to be weak. And on top of all of that being overused and weak, they're usually tight. So you need to make sure that you release these muscles in the inside of your leg. Obviously, you'd get both sides, but those muscles have a strong pull on the pelvis again, because if your pelvis is here and these muscles are really tight in here, it's gonna pull you down this way. So you're gonna start to get a little bit of compression on one side, and that's just not gonna be good for your back, right? So moving on to the next one. Moving on to the next one is going to be for rotation in the back, all right? So what we're gonna do is lay down on your side. And for this demonstration, your right hip is going to be up in the air, all right? So you can follow just along. So I'm here, I'm laying on my side, right? And my bottom leg is nice and straight, and this top one is gonna be bent at 90 degrees. So basically your top knee is going to be in line with your hip, all right? So we're laying down just like this. Relax the head. Both arms are stacked over each other. We'll take a deep breath in. Exhale and rotate to open up. Now you want to be able to just open up as wide as you can. This will be opening up your chest. You'll feel a stretch in the back. You'll feel a twist you'll feel a stretch in the lower back and then a twist in the middle back, right? From here, I want your breathing to dictate the whole movement, okay? So as you inhale, you're gonna come up to right around the middle. So you're going, and then from here, exhale. If you need to, you can take this free hand and put it on top of the knee so that you can kind of push the knee down so you can get a little bit more rotation, all right? On that one, I would suggest doing 10 on each side so you can really open things up, all right? And then the last one I have here for you is gonna be for the front of your legs, all right? So on this one, a lot of times we have tightness in the hips, and this is going to cause pain in the lower back, because if the hip flexors, which some of those same muscles I was talking about before, if they're really tight, what they're gonna do is not only pull your knees in like this and yank on your pelvis that way, but if they're really tight, and because you have a lot of strong hip flexors, they have a lot of influence on what your pelvis is going to do. And these muscles, if they're tight, they're going to tilt your hips forward, right? So they're gonna tilt your hips forward, causing a pinch and a contraction in your back here, right? So all those muscles in the back that are supposed to be nice and long, your spinal erectors, they're actually gonna be compressed at the lower back, and they're not gonna be supporting you as best that they can. So what we're going to do is open up those muscles in the front of the knee or in the front of the leg. So basically these are gonna be the muscles that connect towards your knee. These are gonna be your quad muscles, all right? We're gonna drop that left knee down, just like this. Right leg is up to a point where you feel supported. From here, right, I'm just gonna turn to the side real quick. From here, you are going to tuck the hips underneath, right? So you don't wanna be in this arched position here, because you'll just be stretching over compensations, right? So what we wanna do is make sure that this hip is tucked underneath, just like that. Just by you tucking your hips underneath a little bit, you should start to feel a stretch if you're sitting up nice and straight. If you don't need any more stretch than that, then that's perfectly fine. You'll just hold that glute contraction there, right? And you'll get the stretch here, right? There is no need for you to shoot your hips forward like that and then start compressing your back. That's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to open up the front of the hip and take actually some pressure off the lower back. So you want to make sure that you're really tucking the pelvis underneath, right? From there, if you need more of a stretch, you can take the same side hand. So now I have my left knee down and my left hand is going to go up. So I'm tucking my hips underneath. My left hand is going up, all right, and back a little bit. So now I'm starting to feel a stretch come all the way up through. It could even go up to your rib cage, right? And then you'll rep that out. So you're here, tuck it underneath, hold that glute contraction, come up, and you can go back a little bit, all right? And you'll feel that coming down there. Another version of the same one is that instead of going up here, you're going over to the side. You can choose whichever one feels better to you. So you can tuck the pelvis underneath, again, same deal, and then you're coming up over to the side and then lean. When you're leaning to the side, you're not only gonna feel that coming down the front of the leg, but also you'll start to feel a stretch in the obliques and in your QL, which is a lower back muscle that tends to get pretty tight in general. So I hope that those couple stretches help you out. And again, all of these stretches you're doing anywhere from 1 to 2 minutes, except for the ones on the reps, you would do 10 reps, just like the last one that we did. I hope that helps you guys out. And if you have any other questions, please email me, text me, call me, whatever questions you have, just let me know. And then I could direct you to a video that I have done, or maybe I could create one for you, or you could check out the rest of the things that we have here. We have a whole class that goes over stretching. It's more intense. But it gives you a whole lot more stretches and really explains exactly what every single stretch does. And it basically goes from all the way from your toes all the way up to your neck. So if you have any other aches or pains or anything like that, just go ahead and check that out, or check out my YouTube channel. Peace. Have a good day.